Okay, in this lesson we're going to make a cannon like we did before, but we're going to do it in a different way. I'm going to make the same cannon, but I'm going to use a different technique. We extruded this cannon, and so I'm going to come back into solid view here, and I'm going to move this guy someplace else. So let's go ahead and move him out of the way. And I'm going to make a new cannon using spin. So we extruded a cannon, now we're going to spin a cannon, and it turns out, interestingly, about half the time, after students have tried both, about half the students prefer to extrude and half the students prefer to spin. I think spinning is a little bit easier really once you get the hang of it. But let's go ahead and move the cursor to center. And I need a single vertex to start this. And so maybe easier than putting a circle here, I'm just going to add a plane. And I need to take this plane, I'm going to tab into edit mode, and I need to get rid of 3 of these vertices. So I click on the vertex button, and I click 1, 2, and 3. I'm going to go ahead and delete those vertices, and I'm left with one vertex over here. And notice that it's not right where the origin is. So if I come over here to object mode again, and I click on object and go to transform, I can say geometry to origin, and so my point, that vertex, and the origin are in the same spot. And so now if I move this over just a little bit, I have my vertex just slightly off of center. Now to get into the N tab, you hit N. Blender calls this the properties panel, which is confusing because these are properties over here, so I just call this the N tab. And I'm going to reapply the image so we can remember how to do that. But again, you come into the N tab, you click on the background checkbox, drop this down, and you can add an image. If you say open file, your files, your images should be in the same folder as your project. And now I just choose the one that I want, and I can't see it, so if I hit 1, there it is. Hit 3, there it is again. And so I'm going to need to adjust this image. I want the image to match perfectly with the axes, and so to do that I'm going to come down here and I'm going to rotate this guy negative 90 degrees. So it's rotated, and then I just have to adjust where he is with these buttons. So I'm going to move him over and get that blue vertex or blue axis, which is the z-axis, right in the center, and I can move him up by just sliding this guy over, and I want him right about there. That's looking pretty good. Maybe nudge him just a bit more. Now I'm ready to go. So to spin this, it's actually very simple. I need to come back into edit mode now, and I've got a vertex here. I'm going to turn off my gizmo so that doesn't get in the way, and I'm just like it's going to be like connecting the dots. I'm going to hit control, and every place I left click while the control button is down, I'm going to get another vertex. And so I'm just going to follow the edge of this cannon, and I'm going to come all the way up, and that's it. So I think what I'll do is I'll pause the video, finish coming up here so you don't have to watch me do all that. Okay, so I've got this guy all set up. If I hit A, I can see all of the different vertices I've got, and I can see if I zoom in here, I can see I just put little vertices by hitting control, left click, all the way around, kind of modeling where those edges are. I came all the way up here, and then I put a hole down the middle. That's the bore of the cannon. And so now I'm ready to go, and I've got everything selected. Remember, A toggles on and off, select all. And so that doesn't look like a cannon yet, but if I were to spin this thing right now at a weird angle like this, it would look a little bit strange. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to go ahead and hit 7, and I'll have a top-down view, and I can see that this thing is perfectly lined up on the green axis, because when I built it, I was looking right down the y-axis. Anyway, so I'm looking down the z-axis now, and I'm ready to spin this. So I come over to my tools, and all I have to do is hit spin, and I've spun this 90 degrees. I need a little bit more geometry, so I'm going to say instead of 10 steps, I'm going to say 36 steps, because 36 divides evenly into 360, and I'm going to go 360 degrees, and now it has spun all the way around, and I have a cannon. Now the problem with this is that that row of vertices, it's gone all the way around, and so I have 2 vertices taking up the same space every place that I've put one. So I want to come down here and make sure that I hit remove doubles, and to do that I'm going to take the whole thing, select everything, and any doubles that exist. It removed 55 vertices I can see up here on top, and at this point it's very much like it was when I extruded it. So now I'm going to go through those other same steps I did before. I'm going to add a modifier, subdivision surface, bump up the steps, and this is looking good, but notice that I've lost some of my sharp edges here. So if I tab back into edit mode, I can hit a Control R for a loop cut, and I can bring that back in here. Any place else I want a hard edge, I can do that. So I'll add another loop cut here, and I'll bring that guy out. And any place that I want the edge to be rounded off like that with the subsurf, it'll stay rounded. Any place I want a harder edge, I can bring these guys in and do one here and bring that all the way up. I can even scale that in a bit if I want it to be a little bit sharper, and so on. So I'm going to just come down here to the end. I will make some of these creases a little bit sharper in here, get a little bit more definition, and so forth. Maybe in here I can bring that guy in and scale that in. So that's good to go. I'm pretty happy with that. Maybe I want a little bit sharper edge right here, so I'll come in, I'll drag that down, and that guy looks like a cannon. Now let's see what it looks like here. He looks very similar to this cannon. I don't have these edges yet, but I can spin those as well. And so I'm going to add the same material I added before. So I come over here, I'm going to add ancient bronze. So let's see what these guys look like. I can see that this guy is on its side, so I will rotate him 90 degrees on the y-axis. Sorry, I'm going to rotate him 180 degrees on the y-axis. And so these guys are looking pretty similar. If I take this guy now and grab him on the y-axis, I can move him over. If I grab him on the z-axis or the x-axis, I can move him back. So let's sort of compare what these two look like. If I come back into rendered mode, I can see that these two cannons are looking very similar. I made the back of the cannon very, very different on the other one, but in any case, the other parts are looking very, very much the same. So it's really a question of what do we find easier. I made the bore here a lot bigger than I did on this one. I don't actually have the image of the front of the cannon, but I could probably make it look more realistic if I change that. In any case, I'm ready to spin this piece, so let's go ahead and do that real quick and then we'll be done. I'm going to come back into solid mode and I can do the same thing. Let me save this before I move on. And now I want to do the same thing, so I'm going to come over here and I'll spin this and I'll just show what that looks like in just a moment.